Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat, the last coffee chat for a while with Lindsey and Neely.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
And we did not plan our floral attire today. I
Nope.
mean, you guys probably don't believe us, but
This is how we do it.
yep. Well,
We
and it's funny
we just
because here we're having like summer weather. It's nice and warm and sunny, and so I've got the tank top floral, and you're not having that same weather, and you've got
I'm
the long
not having that.
sleeve floral.
No, I'm not having that experience at all. This morning I got up and it was like in the mid upper 40s. It's like the weather and I are just not friends. I don't love spring and I don't love fall, and yet here spring lingers on when we're supposed to be charging forward to summer, which is one of my two favorite seasons.
Yep.
So
Sorry. It's a rough life.
it's a belabored moment. It's going to be okay. At some point, allegedly, summer should come. I hold on to that tiny shred of hope.
Yeah. Well, I am getting over a cold, which maybe you can hear. Um, it came on like 2 days ago, and I think
Okay.
I'm already on the back end of it. So I'm thankful for
Well,
that.
that's good.
My kids got it and my husband got it, and I mean, they were sick for a long time, and I didn't think I was going to get it. And
Yeah.
then finally, I was the last one to get it, and I'm hoping that I'm kicking it quickly. Hopefully, it doesn't take a turn for the worse. But thankfully, I
Yeah.
did not lose my voice like I usually do when I get sick. But yeah,
Good
that's
thing.
that's it. I've just been
Hey,
laid low the last couple days.
with this, well, I'm glad that you're not, like laid up in bed just feeling miserable. I'm
Yeah,
glad for that.
thank you.
Um, I'm going to totally shift. What did you bring coffee to the final coffee chat?
I have failed. I have failed. I brought electrolytes. I did have coffee this morning, so there is coffee in me. Does that count?
No. I
I did
needed you
put
to go and get a cup of coffee to just pretend. It's the
oh,
final one. I just
I'll pretend
I
like this
guess
is
I will carry the coffee load. The coffee
no.
burden rests on me with
I've completely failed us all.
my cup of
Yeah,
decaf coffee, and I will sit here by ourselves in this nasty,
yeah.
scuzzy weather and pretend like it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, well, that's the real reason we're quitting the coffee chats. There
It
were too
is.
many times that I didn't bring coffee to the coffee chat, and Lindsey was like, "That's it.
I
I'm not doing it
I
anymore."
cannot I can't carry the bulk of this relationship. This coffee chat, it was supposed to be an equal yoked situation, and you have just like gone off to pasture without me. And it's
No,
fine.
I mean, you should
I
have
can't
known
pull the cart by myself.
considering I'm not a black coffee drinker. You should have already like that should have been a red flag from the beginning.
What I wish there was a red flag like gesture we could make, and it would just
Oh,
like red flag.
that would be awesome. They need to do that.
Sorry, we have a red flag here.
Uh,
Okay, that's enough
okay,
shenanigans.
but listen to this. I got contacted by a company that make,
Okay.
like those uh cooking robots. That I mean, they like to call it robot, but it's like this device can do everything. It cooks and stirs at the same time, and then it does the
Got a
yes.
little
And
thing
so
going
I
around.
have reviewed one of those in the past several years
I
ago, and
remember
so
that. Yeah.
yes, and that was exciting. Um, but then so this company contacted me, and they have the same kind of thing, and
Okay.
they're like, "Hey, do you wanna review this?" And I was like, "Well, no, I've already reviewed something like that." But I looked on your website, and you have a coffee robot. I wouldn't mind, reviewing that one. And they're like, "Oh, I can send it to you." And so they sent it to me.
Oh wow.
And I've already filmed the video, so it'll be coming shortly. But it's spoiling me. Let's just say that.
Well, we
Because
will await the video with bated breath.
yeah, yeah, seriously. It grinds the coffee for you and it presses it into the little puck inside there, and then it's like it's an espresso machine that does it all. Anyway.
Don't tell Jared. He wants like the whole kit and caboodle automated where he can just like, or from an app. He wants it to be able to function from an app.
This one doesn't have an app option, I don't think. It just
Well,
has like all the little icons where it's like cappuccino, latte, Americano.
Oh my goodness. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, can I still be in the cool coffee club? Probably not, because when you're in the cool coffee club, you're like weighing out your grounds and doing the pour over in exactly the right pattern. And so I'm just a failure all the way around.
I mean, let's just get you onto the black coffee to start and see what happens.
Can't do it.
Can't or don't wanna. Remember how we talked last week? I can't is really just I don't wanna.
I'm fine with that as well.
Okay, all right. We're scrapping the coffee conversation because you couldn't bring coffee.
We're quitting early.
Let's scroll back and see all of the people who decided to join us on our last coffee chat ever.
Marie is here. Marie gets the gold stars. Not that we have a gold star
chart. We don't have a leaderboard.
No. Sing It is here. Already panicking, thinking about next week. I know. I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, I could always hop on and do a live stream if I get really, but it'll just be sad. Just do it by myself. Oh, Blaze is here.
You won't even have coffee. You'll just be there with nothing. No coffee, no chatting.
I should do a live stream next week and have decaf black coffee and see how that goes.
You're like, I didn't even need Lindsey. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. It was the decaf black coffee this whole time. Oh my gosh. We're in rare form today.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh goodness. Okay, Suzanne is here. Hello. I hope you're doing okay, Suzanne. I know you're going through a lot. Shauna is here. Mary is here. Happy Wednesday. Kelly is here. Hello. Oh, and there's someone here maybe named Jared. Do you know him? Do I need to block him?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Jared loves spring and fall. Lindsey is the yin to my yang. Yeah. You know what? I think that's how it's supposed to be. So at least one of you is miserable at all times.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Oh, Jennifer is here. Blaze says lots of vitamin C in those fruit. Yep. Yeah, I was looking at chronometer. Yeah. What?
No scurvy for you.
No worries on that. I was looking at my chronometer, because I'm trying to make sure I'm hitting all my nutrients with all this stuff. And the vitamin C is one I'm having no problem on. It's like 300%. We're good.
Well, the nice thing about hitting your vitamin C every day is the fact that like your body is not storing that. So you're, staying up and up on it.
Right. I want to get enough every day.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly says, final coffee chat. I know. Oh, Mary says coffee in me counts. So I'm taking that.
No, I make the rules.
Okay, this is a good question from Bubbles. Final. What happened? We should probably explain it again. We did explain it last week, but not everyone
Neely went on the sugar diet and I'm divorcing her. That's all there is to it.
That is it. Yep. She's like, I can't be seen with you anymore.
She gets to keep the live streams if she wants to, but I have to go and heal my heart.
Yeah. She's getting contact insulin spikes from being around me.
I am. It's secondhand insulin spikes.
There you go. No, so Lindsey, hey, did you want to talk any more about like the reasons that we're kind of taking a break? I know you shared your video since the last.
I did. And one of my friends texted me and she said, you sound like you're having a lament. And I was like, I do have a lament. My health is not doing what I want it to do.
Yeah.
So I have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and that's not really uncommon for a lot of people in my age bracket slash dietary lifestyle, I guess. And so I am in the process of slowly reducing things that are stressful, whether that's good or bad stress. Like it doesn't really matter because I've eliminated a lot of good stresses. And this is one of those like exciting things that I like to do, but excitement can also be synonymous with stress.
Mhm.
And so I'm reducing things that are stressful that I can reduce. And I am learning to manage stressful things that I cannot eliminate or reduce. And so I need to just kind of like have a summer of slow. And last week you said an unhurried summer. And I thought
Mhm.
that is the most like effective way to like say the words. Unhurried summer. Just
Yep.
settle down.
Yeah, that can be our word. You know, people have words for the year. That'll be our
That's
word for
right.
the year.
That's
Unhurried.
right.
Ooh, I
Unhurried.
love it. I'm excited about it. Haley loves the floral attire. Yes. And Mary's asking if we planned it.
We
Nope.
sure did. We have this weird thing. We twin on a lot of stuff, and then we're polar opposites on a lot of stuff. So
Yep.
it's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it's enough to keep it exciting. If we
That's
were
right.
just the same person, boring.
Absolutely boring. And I don't want to ever be
Is
boring.
here. Yeah. Oh no. Rick Wynn is here. Hello. Jared said send the affiliate link for the coffee maker. Yep. You're gonna have to watch the video. You need to watch the video, make sure it's exactly what you're looking for. But yeah, definitely. And then you'll click the link in the description and use the code and all the things.
He says, send it. He's like, I'm just going to text Jeff and be like, Jeff, tell me about this coffee maker that you don't use because you don't drink coffee. Tell me.
No, Jeff thinks it's the stupidest thing ever. He's not going to give it a good review. He laughed so hard. Oh, okay.
Good old Jeff.
Shauna says black coffee with cinnamon here. Excellent. And that still qualifies as black. The cinnamon
Yeah, the
doesn't
color
change
has
the
not
color.
been altered by any kind of,
Mhm.
colorant. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
so we
technically
will allow it.
brown, but permissible.
Okay, Blaze says she was the first one here. Sometimes we don't see the first comment.
Yeah, depends on
I
how
think we
early
only see the ones after we like come into our area here. So
yeah.
credit where credit is due. Gold star. And Maria agrees. Excellent. I'm glad we don't have any fights going on. That could get ugly.
We need an unhurried competition or a we're uncompetitioning.
Mm-hmm. No kidding. Sing It says you should be in rare form going out with a bang. Yeah, we'll try. Risa is here for a little while at least. Excellent. Oh, so Blaze is recommending black seed oil to help reduce antibodies of the Hashimoto's.
I have done research on that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I haven't done research on black seed oil so much, but I have heard about it just because there's some very passionate people about it. But people talk about it like it's a miracle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Can we tangent for 12 seconds here?
I think we can.
People get very excited about a variety of different things. So much so that it becomes like an entire personality. You remember castor oil? Like castor oil is kind of a cool substance and it's nice for like, digestive issues or, like skin, rejuvenating and what have you. But people can make it their whole personality.
Totally.
Or like any number of random compounds that have like one benefit in a certain amount, like it suddenly just explodes into like all of your life's problems are solved by this one thing. And so it's very easy to find highly passionate people about a single ingredient or a single compound or something to that effect, and it's a lot.
Well, I always try to talk about health, especially when I'm sharing a product or a service or whatever, where I'm like, this could benefit your health. I always try to talk about it in like the puzzle analogy, where everybody has a puzzle and all these different pieces that need to come together to get whatever good health. And
Right.
the amount that's already put together is going to be different for every person, and the pieces that are put together are different for every person, and the pieces that are missing are different for every person. And so
Mhm.
these certain people where they find castor oil and that is the one thing that just transformed their health. It was like they had this nice puzzle put together, and that piece was one of those finishing pieces for them. And so it's really easy. I totally understand because I've done this myself.
Yeah,
To say,
same.
this is the answer. This is it. Well,
Mhm.
it really depends on the rest of your puzzle.
It
And
does.
so when I was talking about red light therapy and how dramatically it improved
Okay.
my health,
Yeah.
I tried really hard to, have this
Keep it in
framework.
perspective.
Yeah, keep it in
Yeah.
perspective. I don't want to just say red light therapy is a miracle for everyone. If you do it, you will have perfect health. Like, and that's obviously exaggerated, but that's what it sounds
Yeah.
like when a lot of people talk about a different diet or a different product or a different service.
Or a
And
different health hack.
and
Yeah.
and it's not even to like throw shade necessarily at that person because for them, maybe
It
that
was probably.
was that final piece for them and they, hang their whole their whole health on it. But
Yeah.
let's just kind of try to have that perspective.
For sure. And Blaze, I do appreciate the suggestion. And that is one of the supplements that I have stumbled across
Nice.
in my research and have dug into. So
Yeah, very good. Serendipity is here. Good morning. Sing It says we need an unhurried summer t-shirt. I would totally do that, except that would be work.
that would do
I
have
would
to be
wear one if someone else wants to make one.
I've
But
already got the design kind of like formulating in my head.
yeah.
Like I feel like it needs to be like one of those 1970s style, like with
Oh,
the big
yeah.
bubble letters and the outlining around the whole thing. And I can see it in my
Yeah.
mind's eye.
Yeah, we kinda need to go back to, like, an '80s summer or a '90s summer, at least
Oh
that's,
yeah.
from my perspective, because that's
Right.
when I was a kid,
Oh
and
yeah.
we didn't do I mean, there were 6 kids in our family, and we weren't overly wealthy or anything, and we were homeschooled, and so we didn't do, like, all kinds of camps and events
Right.
and things. It was just we found fun.
You went outside, you played in the woods with sticks, you
Yep,
drank the hose water. Oh my
yep.
gosh, I can remember playing hide and seek through our neighborhood all the time
Oh,
on
yeah.
rollerblades.
Yes. Oh, totally. Yep. Yeah, and we would ride our bikes to the library and to the swimming pool, local swimming pool, and, then we'd, walk and pick blackberries in the field. Like, it was a good
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, just
We need one
wander
of
around
those.
outside, see what kind of trouble you can find.
Yep. Yep. Okay, Risa is saying uh-oh.
Go ahead. No, whenever you get
Okay.
down to Blaze, that's what I was like,
Oh,
what?
okay. Okay. Speaking of saying yes to less, yesterday we only went to Costco and not all the other stores around it. We still spent probably 2 times what we normally pay though. Yeah. It's hard to keep things moderate going to Costco.
Yeah, it is. That's a
Uh,
challenge for sure.
yeah, and sometimes going to fewer stores, like depending on how you work it, going to fewer stores can be more expensive because you're not getting like the individual sales from each store.
Sure.
But then at the same time, the more times I walk into a store, the more times I see something that I'm like, "Oh, that kinda sounds good." Well, but that I wasn't planning on getting. So if you
You're
can
like,
have
oh, I've only got one of
self-control.
those. Stock up.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can have self-control, it can save you money, but it's
Yeah,
kind of a double-edged sword. Okay.
indubitably.
Okay. So, Blaze says, "Glad to hear that, Lindsay. I also have Hashimoto's." I was wondering that. I couldn't remember. "And take black seed oil and have already lowered my antibodies to almost 0." Okay, how long?
That baffles me.
I w
Baffling.
I wanna know when you were diagnosed and when you started taking the black seed oil and, like, how long it's taken to get the antibodies to almost 0. That would be fascinating.
I also have follow up. I want more context. Like, what have you shifted in, like your eating, your exercising, like all of those things? And I know Blaze, she is like on it with like all of the different things.
Yeah.
like a library of information is just in her. So
Yeah.
I am like fascinated by that because my antibodies are ridiculous.
Mm. Marie says, I worked in the supplement industry for years. Black seed oil supposedly cures everything but death.
Yeah.
That's what people say, talking about it curing cancer. And I'm like, wow, that is something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Oh, sing it. Apple cider vinegar is another miracle. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man, you just like rub that on everything.
I
Drink
know.
it all down. Just wash it all down.
Yep. Marie says, I love the puzzle analogy. Yes, I love it too. It's so easy just to get swept up in things and to just have that mindset, especially when you're listening to someone gush about something.
And it's hard.
And that's okay. It's like, that's fine to listen to it. Just have the perspective.
Well, and it's hard not to just get swept up in it because, especially for those of us who are very excitable personalities and very much so like, let me dive in first and then find out if it's, 2 inches or 2,000 leagues deep. That for me is like the struggle that I always have is sometimes I'm like, that does not check out or that doesn't really make any sense. But more often than not, I'm like, oh, we should go jump into this cold plunge and then immediately jump through fire and all of a sudden we'll be cured. Yes, do it twice a day.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Kelly says KetoChow must be my missing puzzle piece and salty. Hey,
I mean, they're delightful.
they are. Everyone, see, I have already had that piece of my health puzzle in place for a little
There
while.
you
And
go.
so,
Yeah.
when I had great results from the red light therapy, I have to take into consideration that I already had the KetoChow piece in place.
Yeah. 100%.
Dustin is here. Good afternoon/morning. Risa says just 3 paper products, toilet paper, paper towels, and tissues cost us close to $70. Oh my gosh. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Crazy times. Crazy times.
Ridiculous.
Cindy is here. Good morning. Good afternoon. Risa says, I watched last night's live stream again, and you were is that who's maybe Cindy's? I'm not sure whose live stream it was, but I'm having issues with their streaming. Yeah, a lot of people. I don't know what I mean. You think it's probably the weather that's giving you trouble today, but okay. Blaze says my antibodies were not very high, still under the official range for diagnosis, but they were going up. Started the black seed oil and tested 2 weeks later, and wow, only in 2 weeks you saw a difference. That's amazing.
That's pretty intense. Did you cut out dairy? That's what I need to know.
Okay, so Ted says, any chance you're going to try a far infrared sauna? Not in the immediate future. I mean, I got contacted by a company that wanted to send me a sauna, but and I was like, oh, maybe. But then I talked to Jeff about it. He's like, well, we don't really have the room for it right now. And he was like, it's kind of the IKEA of saunas. And he's like, I'll just build one that'll be better. So I was like, okay, fine.
Deal.
Yeah. So there may be a time where we do that, but I don't know if it'll be a far infrared. I don't know. That's we got other priorities, I guess. Sure. And I believe this Ted is the Ted that won the Flickeasy red light panel giveaway. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one. Okay. Keto Simple Dustin said, I finally tried the red raspberry KetoChow last night. It does smell and taste like crunch berries. All right. Well, Jeff was on it. It's so funny because Jeff, he like at the beginning when we first started doing these blind taste tests, he like nailed it several times in a row. And we're like, it's magic. He knows everything. And then he's been on a streak of not nailing it.
He's throwing air balls now.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously that's a problem on the KetoChow side, not on the Jeff side. Clearly.
Naturally.
Yeah. They're just doing it wrong.
I still haven't gotten to taste it yet because I'm still on the dairy-free train.
Lame. Has Jared tasted it?
He has.
Do you like it? Jared, did you like it?
Yeah, Jared, if you're still here. He said it definitely does not taste like red raspberry
Yeah.
for
I
him. Like
think
it wasn't the thing.
I think that and Chris has said this before that they have trouble getting like a really sour taste in their
Okay.
shakes
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it
they have said
curdles the
that for
milk
sure.
protein. So
Right.
I think raspberries have a pretty sharp like
Tartness.
acidity. Same with like the orange and the lemon. They're very sweet orange and lemon, like orange cream. They're not like sour. It's not a sour lemon for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think that if they were able to maybe have a little bit more of that sour punch in there, it would have given more of a raspberry
Okay.
flavor. That's
Okay.
my own thoughts in my own head.
So Jared said that he's only ever tasted one non-actual raspberry thing in his life that actually tasted like a
Okay.
real raspberry. And it was some kind of a candy that is literally like kind of gummy-ish, shaped
Okay.
like raspberries and black raspberries that he remembers getting like as a kid at candy
Okay.
store, something like that. And he said that like that's the only ever time he's felt like he's tasted the real raspberry flavor in not a raspberry. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm
Interesting.
excited to try it again someday because I do hope to reintroduce dairy at some point in my life.
Yeah, no kidding. It'll happen. It'll happen. Blaze's diet is ketovore, almost carnivore with no grains, but still dairy.
Well,
Almost
color me jealous because I
Mhm.
haven't been doing the greens for a real long time.
It's a hard life. Oh,
But yeah, sure we're all different too. So all
it's
right.
all right. Risa meant that for Dustin about his live stream.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Dustin says, can he build me a sauna too? Well, he is a contractor, so for the right price and the plane tickets, I'm sure we could work something out.
For sure.
Exchange student is here. Hello, happy end of Mayish. Yep, we're almost
Yeah.
May. Actually, mine and Jeff's 21-year anniversary is tomorrow. Yep, we're
That's
finally adults.
wild.
Our marriage is finally grown up.
But still doesn't have a fully developed prefrontal cortex.
Right. Well, that's obvious.
Just a few more years. You got this. You got this.
So we are going out actually tonight because tomorrow didn't work out, but we're going out to our favorite restaurant tonight and having a fancy dinner, which we don't do often. We both
Yeah.
have gotten so burnt out with restaurants and so many times going to a restaurant and paying so stinking much money and then it being garbage food and then not satisfying and making you feel terrible. And you're just like, why are we paying for this? The only positive is that the mess is contained outside of my house. Aside from that, it's really
I
difficult.
I agree. Finding things that fall within the parameters that you want them to fall within, and then having it be good
Yes.
and like not having to like I don't know deal with the drive time to get to the place, the time it takes to actually like sit down and consume a meal, the time it takes to get back home, and you have to put on real pants. Like what is that? I don't know. I don't know. I would
Yeah.
rather us like make a high quality meal at home
Yeah.
than go through and deal with all the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, so we talked about like, oh, we could try this restaurant or we could try this restaurant, but we settled on we're going to go to the restaurant that we know is our favorite and we know
Okay.
already is
Okay.
good.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and it's the kind of thing where, and I told this to Jeff a while back, I was like, I'd rather go out to eat half as often and go to like a double nice place than to go out to eat more often at a okay place. And so this is one of those, it's not cheap, but the food is so good. And it's
That
like
it's
stuff that I don't cook, can't cook at home. It's
sure.
very unique, stuff like that. So it's like worth it, once or twice a year to go
Yeah.
do something fancy. So that's what we're doing tonight, which will be very fun.
I agree with the whole like going out fewer times, but when you go out, you go to the place where you know you're going to get exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly. And it be an experience. It's like I can cook a burger at home. I can, there's so many things, tacos or, just regular stuff. I can
Yeah,
make it. I don't need to have someone else do that for me. But to go somewhere where they're making things that either it's way too involved for me to do very often or just stuff that I can't do.
sure.
That's when it's fun. So that's what we're doing.
10 out of 10 agree.
Yep. Okay. Sing It wants to know, was this diagnosis out of nowhere? Had it been creeping up slowly? Was it not diagnosed for years? What is up? Give us the details.
It came out of nowhere. At least according to my perspective, because you think about different symptoms associated with things. Like you think about the symptoms that are associated, say, like with thyroiditis or with an adrenal fatigue, or any number of things like celiacs or something like that. Like you kind of have these clear symptoms where you're like, you know what, all of these symptoms check out. That's what this has got to be. I never had the fatigue in the way that people talk about it. Like I've got one of my dearest friends has had Hashimoto's for 20 plus years of her life. And she talks about just how debilitating the fatigue is for her. And I'm like, I don't ever feel that way.
Mhm.
It hits the morning and I'm like bounding out of bed like a jack in the box. Like I'm like, okay, let's go day. Here we are. Let's do the day. And then, come about 7 o'clock, I'm exhausted, but that's not because like my body has just been tired the whole day long. It's more like, oh, well, yeah, I did a lot of these things. I used a lot of mental energy to homeschool the kids. I did, like all of these tasks. Like, it's not just like, I don't know. Whereas my friend,
Your
she can,
tiredness makes sense.
yeah, it checks out.
Yeah, like
Um,
normal.
yeah, yeah. And my friend, she's like, oh, well, it's like 11 o'clock and I could really use a nap. And she would actually be able to go lay down and nap. Never been like, I mean, like there's occasions when I'm sick or something to that effect. That's whenever stuff like that would happen. But it's just like, like not impossible. It's extremely challenging for me to want to like lay down and sit still. Extremely challenging. So I never really pieced all of those puzzle pieces together. And anytime I would get blood work done, they would always test my free T4 and my no, not my TSH. No, just my free T4. And it was always within range. And I
Yeah.
don't know why they didn't test TSH unless I'm
Usually they
misremembering.
only test TSH. That's the
Yeah.
silly thing.
I don't understand it. Because I feel like if we would have known that my TSH was so out of whack, I would
Yeah.
have done something way sooner. Except my T4, my free T4 was always
Right.
in range. Like it was on the low end, but it was always in range. And I'm like, well, that just must be where I rest. Kind of like how your ferritin,
Mhm.
you can feel cruddy at a low ferritin and you can feel good at a low ferritin for
Mhm.
you. So it's like, it
Right.
must just be that for me. And I'm just like constantly going, constantly just like all the things. So I just completely dismissed it. And so I got blood work back at the end of March, and my doctor was like, hey, you got a bit of a situation here that you need to get handled
Mhm.
now. And my TSH was through the roof. My antibodies are through the roof. Like, it just like, for me, it felt like it was an all of a sudden.
Mhm.
But the more research that I do, it's like, wait a minute. So dry skin on my feet, like I always thought, oh, well, I just have outdoor girl feet. That's all. I just
Mhm.
walk around outdoors barefooted all the time. So it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
Um, so that is a symptom. Super low blood pressure. Like I've
Mhm.
always had low blood pressure. That's a bit of an issue. The fact that like my weight will not really like do much more than bounce around between a few pounds back and forth. It's just, there's so many symptoms that add up, but I completely dismissed all of them as being a possible thyroid condition because the fatigue is like what everybody says is like the number one symptom. And if you don't have that, then it's unlikely. And then your T4 is fine. You're probably not dealing with that. So, all right, I've blathered on enough. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's another thing that I have learned in the last few years is that lab values are important, but they always have to be taken in, like the symptoms always have to be taken into consideration with them. And so,
Sure.
and not just to say, oh, because you have this lab value, this is how you're going to feel.
Sure.
Not necessarily true. And like
Yeah.
Lindsey mentioned with my ferritin, you know, I had a very low ferritin and I felt bad. And I was like, this is how this level of ferritin feels. And if
Mm-hmm.
I can just get my ferritin up, I will feel a different way. And then when I added in the red light therapy, I was like, well, I don't feel that way anymore, but my ferritin, you know, hasn't gone up to the level that I expected it needed to. And so I was like, there's way more involved here than just one number.
Yeah.
Which of course we know that, but it's just so hard,
That
you know.
puzzle analogy coming back around.
Yes. And so it's like, but it's just so easy. And you want a number, something solid that you can see and be like, this is what needs to change. And you just, and I did this with, you know, with the iron for sure. It was just like, I was laser focused. What do I need to do to be able to control this number? Apparently that's impossible, but there were things that I could do that would give me better health outside of just changing that number. And I'm due for blood work here pretty soon, and I'm still really curious to see if anything is going to change,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
ferritin is very slow to change. It's one of the ones that, you know, doesn't just change on a daily basis, and so I don't know. Still could be changing, but it's also
Sure.
maybe isn't at all. So who even knows? Yeah. Let's see. Cindy says the red raspberry is very raspberry, so good. Okay.
Well, and
Um,
it testifies to everybody's taste buds are a little bit different.
yeah, Jeff swears it's watermelon. Okay, and I did get a comment from someone saying, "Yeah, I can taste the watermelon too." Right?
Maybe it's whatever you have in mind. That's what you're going to
Maybe,
taste.
maybe. Well, now the raspberry cheesecake, I thought it tasted pretty raspberry. Do you think that?
The which one?
Raspberry,
I'm sorry.
raspberry cheesecake KetoChow.
I felt like that one tasted raspberry-ish, but I felt like the cheesecake stood out more to my palate.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Dustin tried the shameless keto low carb candies last night. Not on camera, but made a short today that covers thoughts. Okay. I hadn't heard of
I'm
those.
not
I guess
familiar with
I'm
those at
kind of
all.
out of the loop these days with
When
the
it comes
keto
to,
candies.
gosh, I wonder why.
Yeah. Uh, um, Risa says, can't wait to taste the red raspberry. Oh, I think, did I already read this? Um, I'll be mixing one up tonight to try tomorrow. I have tried the mystery salty and I think they nailed it. Yeah. Oh, and so if anyone wants to try the mystery salty, um,
Me.
oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
they're selling a 3-pack, I think, for like $3 on the website. So anybody that wants to give feedback and taste their maybe new flavor, you can do that.
I think the way they're doing that is actually quite fun.
It is fun. Yeah, totally. When you buy it, do they tell you what it is? Because they told us what the name of the
I
flavor
didn't
was.
buy it. I got sent it.
Right. I'm just saying when, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you're asking Risa.
Yeah, because she said that it's
Okay.
a mystery flavor.
Oh, wait, she's not here anymore. Dang it.
Oh yeah. Anyways, I don't know. So I won't say the name of it that they told us
No.
just in case it's a secret, but I'm not sure. I don't think it is though. Anyways, whatever. You can check it out on the website. um Carmen forgot that today was Wednesday because of Memorial Day. Yep, those Monday holidays mess everybody up.
They're so pesky. I
Uh,
still made Caitlin do schoolwork on Monday.
oh, hey, we homeschool. There's no such thing as Monday holidays.
Yeah, there's no days off.
No.
It's
Like when I
like
was
doing
growing
health.
up, the only reason we would maybe get a Monday off is because the neighbor kids who were all in school had the day off, and so everyone was out playing, and my mom, you know, was like, you could go play with the neighbor kids. But we don't have that here out in the country. We don't have neighbor kids so it's like it's just a regular day.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing of it for Caitlin. Like, she only has to finish her biology course. And once she's done with the biology course, she's free and clear because her
Yeah.
sister's free and clear. And it's like, listen, it's on you. It's on you. All you got to do is just keep going. It's on
Uh,
you.
oh, Blaze, don't say this to Lindsey. Don't.
So, yeah.
Some people need to be dairy free for a year to see a difference. Ugh.
I mean, and it's funny because I was with my friends and Jared and, our families got together on Monday, and my friend, she said, so you're just gonna like be dairy free forever now? You're never gonna have, maybe Jared said it. I don't quite remember, but somebody in the crew said, so you're just gonna be dairy free from now on? And it's like, well, no, but I also don't want to like constantly feel like I'm starting back at square one by having a dairy situation or like a dairy occurrence and then have to like restart the clock.
Right.
And I've already kind of decided that my first experience back with dairy is going to be SIBO yogurt or SIBO fermented dairy, just because I would like to test to see if that is the most effective way, because there's there's a lot of like chemical conversation behind that, but I think that that's going to be my first foray back into testing dairy to see if it does create an issue for me.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to find out where you end up with the dairy situation.
Because I was literally like looking in the fridge this afternoon. I was like, I really want to pick a cheese stick. I really want a cheese stick. I really want a cheese stick, but I'm not doing a cheese stick. I can't eat the cheese stick yet. It's not the time. Like, this is not the time. And I do have grown-up willpower, and I'm permitted to have the cheese stick at some point down the road, but not right now. So
Right.
I pepper instead.
Yeah. Well, I have found that with this experimenting that I've been doing, I'm eating a lot less dairy. Just
Sure.
because, cheese doesn't fit very well into my protocol. And I haven't been missing it too bad, actually. It's been all right. Although I do still have some yogurt, like Greek yogurt, and some farm fresh milk. I'll do my lattes with that and stuff. So I have a little bit, but I really have reduced, especially the cheese, which is probably a good thing.
Well,
A lot more carbs.
Yeah, what's actually the most disheartening is Parmesan cheese has 11 grams of protein per ounce, which is insane. And it's like, I could eat 1 ounce of Parmesan cheese and have like 11 grams of slow digesting protein that might help me to feel amazing for longer. But I'm not doing that because I made a commitment to myself. And I'm teaching myself that myself can handle this.
Yourself is very strong.
Self has said to self. I said to self,
you're going to do this.
You're doing this for a period of time. We didn't raise quitters.
Yeah.
Self.
Yeah. Okay, so Jared is still here. He says not his top
Talking about
pick.
red raspberry.
Yes, but he likes the raspberry cheesecake better. Yeah, and you know what? I think color is fun. I love that they're not putting added colors into the new keto chows. I think that's great, especially like artificial colors.
Right.
But there's something about drinking a pink raspberry shake that's just right.
I will say, not having the color in there, it really like comforts multiple facets in my life. But another thing, like for Jeff trying to pick and choose like what he thinks the flavors are, it's way more fun because he's got no indicator.
For sure.
True blind test. But yeah, it would be if they were as bright red as the little sorbet that's on the front of the red raspberry picture.
That would be intense.
Of course, people might also think that that's watermelon. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Marie's asking if red raspberry is different than raspberry cheesecake, and I think it is very different.
I would imagine so.
And I think the raspberry cheesecake just has a stronger flavor as well.
Okay.
Their newer flavors I feel like the flavors are more muted.
Okay.
Their older flavors, I think, have more flavor. That's just
more punchy.
More punch, yeah. And I think that's part of the difference. Okay. I want to make sure we get to any questions down here.
There was one from Julie.
Okay. I'm not quite there yet. Let's see.
Oh,
Blaze
okay.
says, I don't think this is a question, but adding in some carbs now, some fruit, seeing some new research that is showing that some carbs may help thyroid levels come up. Yep.
I've
Yep.
definitely seen a lot of that.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's saying happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you. Um, real pants. Who wants to put on real pants?
Probably not many people.
Let's see. Let's see. Sing It says Lindsey is an anomaly. That is a convenient outlier situation there. Oh, is that like from the energy wise for the
Yeah, like the
hypothyroid?
peak thing. It's so easy to dismiss a bunch of symptoms when you don't know that they correlate with one another and you're missing the number one telltale sign.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That is kind of wild. Shark Air says my doctor only tests TSH. I'm headed to a lab to check free T3 and free T4. Yeah, and it's great that you can do it yourself now.
Oh, for sure.
So definitely take advantage of that if you don't want to fight your doctor over it. And it's very inexpensive, in my opinion, to go get it tested yourself. And a lot of times getting it tested through a doctor and then having the insurance pay their part, you get a bill that's even more than it would have been if you had just ordered it through Own Your Labs or one of those.
That's what I dealt with.
Yeah, my daughter had to do a bunch of lab work for her pregnancy, and I could not believe the bill that she got. And I was just like, dang, so stupid.
Labs is so much more cost effective.
Yeah, and she has insurance that she's paying for and has to pay more. How does this make sense in any world? Okay, let's see. All right. Yep, we just got like 10 or 15 more minutes. Julie. Okay, here's the question from Julie. I've watched you both off and on for years since the THM days. Oh, that was a long time ago. Was wondering if you think iodine supplementation has contributed to any of these thyroid issues.
Why don't you take that one first there, Neely?
Well, I am nearly 100% certain that it caused my issue. And I had hyperthyroidism. And when I cut out the iodine and then took some medication to get the thyroid under control, I was able to go off of the medication and now be okay. But I 100% think that the iodine supplementation caused my issue. And I am not very happy with the way that iodine supplementation has been talked about in the community and continues to be talked about as if it's impossible to take too much and to have any problems. Because I was in a really rough spot and I didn't even have it in my mind that it could have been the iodine supplementation. So I'm not saying that no one should supplement iodine. I think there's obviously places for that. But if you are, you should know what to look for as far as hyperthyroid symptoms, because you don't want that to go on for any length of time. It is extremely damaging to your heart, especially, and it messes with your brain. Like it really messes up the whole person. And so I think there ought to be a lot more caution to it. I'm not an expert or anything, but I just think there should be a lot more caution than what I hear about in where I heard about it was the keto and carnivore community. So your turn.
I think that the iodine is another one of those things that it's touted as the miracle.
Yeah.
Just like, like castor oil, apple cider vinegar, all these different things. Like it's touted as this is the cure all, it'll fix everything. And there is a lot of evidence that iodine deficiency is problematic. And then your experience of an overabundance of iodine is clearly like a major contributing factor, if not the factor, for your issue that you dealt with. I don't have any clue as to whether or not the iodine usage was my problem
Yeah.
or not, because I wound up, having hypoactive thyroid, which is
Right.
something that is indicative that maybe you're low in iodine. So
Right.
it's, I don't have any definitive things. And I have thought about doing that iodine loading test where you do the 24 hours of urine collection and testing to see how much iodine you discard,
Yeah.
to see if there is an iodine deficiency, but I've not actually like committed to that idea or not. So
Yeah, and when you start looking into iodine, there's people like Dr. Brownstein who does the very high dose iodine protocols. Um,
mhm.
and he says everyone is deficient or nearly everyone is deficient, and the lack of iodine is what is causing the huge amount of Hashimoto's and hypothyroid and hyperthyroid, like all thyroid dysfunction comes from too little iodine. And then you go to someone like Dr. Alan Christensen, who is also a very smart doctor that's been around for a long time, and he specializes in the thyroid. And he says exactly the opposite. He says that the explosion of Hashimoto's, hypothyroid, hyperthyroid is because things have been fortified with iodine too much, and we get too much iodine now. And it leaves us in the middle here with like,
Questions, no
I
answers.
can't do anything. And so Dr. Alan Christensen is treating patients with a low iodine diet, and he gives like a food list. If you have thyroid issues, avoid these foods because they are like eggs. Like, you don't want to eat too many eggs because it has iodine, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, how do we make sense of all of this information?
Don't
One
take
way
my
that we make sense of it is through our own personal experience. So clearly, with my own personal experience now, I know that the adding, iodine is not the right choice for me, but I still sit here in the middle like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So it's tough.
Yeah, I do think the idea of going in and trying to do the iodine loading test for the 24 hours to
Yeah.
specifically understand if your individual body is deficient or is managing well with the amount of iodine you consume, then I think that that would be probably the most logical path to discern that for yourself. And I'm also considering the fact that like my adrenals might be the main culprit, and then if you stem or if you take a step further back, it's likely my gut that's the problem. If
Right.
my gut hadn't been permeable, then I probably wouldn't have all of these, bad things floating around and then having my body attack my body because molecular mimicry things. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's so hard because it's not like you have just lived a life of not caring about your health.
Right.
It's like, this is so unfair because you have been so diligent with studying iodine and supplementing it in a way that you thought was responsible and was adding to your health, and,
Well, yeah.
eating a keto diet for the last, 9 years. And you're like,
Yeah.
you studied it and you're like, this is the best thing for my health. And you
And
should
seeing
not.
benefits. Like I saw benefits
Right.
even. And then it's like, wait a minute, the benefits I was feeling may not be the benefits that my body actually is requiring. So maybe I need to go find out what my body actually requires versus what,
Right.
my brain thought it needed.
But it's just so unfair that we
Yeah.
work so hard to find things to make us healthier, and sometimes those things either don't stop the issues from still creeping up or actually directly contribute to them, like for me with the whole iodine thing. And it's just like,
Yeah.
sometimes I wonder, like, the people who are not even in the health world and they're just like, I just do what makes sense and just eat and don't care about it. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wonder what that would be like. They probably will never overdose on iodine.
Well, the other thing is like it's just like it's like part of the issue of just like too much. Can
Yeah.
you ever go back? Can you ever go backwards when you're like, I know seed oils are inflammatory.
Yeah.
Or at least I think I know that. Maybe it's
Well,
not true.
I know, but it's like with things like sugar and carbs now, I was pretty certain that that sugar was not going to be a big part of my life moving forward.
Ever.
I
Yeah.
really thought that. I had bought in 100%, and here I am now eating 300 to 400 grams of carbs per day and seeing improvements in my health and weight loss. What the heck? So I'm just trying to use this as like reminder to stay humble.
Yes.
Like, don't think I know anything. Obviously, we have to do stuff. It's not that we could just say, I can't know anything and I'm just going to not do anything unless I have it all figured out and know it. We have to do something. So we do what
Yeah.
makes sense. But what I try to do is really hold that loosely. Because this makes sense now, this is what I'm doing. But next week, it could be different if something changes.
Yeah. The song Hold On Loosely, Just Don't Let Go makes 100% sense in all situations.
Totally.
Just hold on loosely.
Carmen says, I pretty much had to give up dairy because I feel bloated after consuming. I missed, the reason that Lindsey gave it up. I still occasionally eat the El Roederer yogurt. Yeah. Yeah, Lindsey gave it up because she's trying to deal with this Hashimoto's situation and get that under control. And that can
Well,
sometimes aggravate thyroid
well,
stuff.
yeah. So the casein protein in dairy has a molecular structure that mimics thyroid. So whenever you have got, like all the antibodies for Hashimoto's, which are the antibodies that attack your thyroid, it's like the casein can trigger more antibodies to try to battle against the casein, but then it winds up battling your thyroid on top of that. And it's the same with gluten. Those two proteins are extremely similar in molecular structure that cause the body to think foreign contaminant and go to town on your thyroid.
Right. So Dustin has a question about, is there
Okay.
information out there on signs of low iodine where supplementation is needed
I'm sure there.
versus should be avoided? Yeah, and then he says, I mean, most people being low in iodine is why we have iodized salt and such. Yeah. So I think Dr. Christensen's thoughts on it
Information.
are, well, and he doesn't demonize iodine. Like, he does say there are times where it's appropriate to supplement. And back before there was the iodized salt, people were having goiters and things like that. And so the iodized salt helped with that. But Dr. Christensen seems to think that it was too much. Like, they overcorrected. And so now people are getting too much iodine. Yeah. And so, and I know that there are lots of resources out there about, and maybe Dr. Christensen has that information. I'm sure he does, about like when you should supplement and when you should actively avoid. Um,
I'm finding the more that I read from him, like the more I appreciate his somewhat more middle of the road approach to many things.
yeah, I have been aware of his work for quite some time, and
Yeah.
I had to like come back to his work after being keto for quite a while because I had heard him talk about like low carb and keto and some of the concerns about it. And there was a time where I was like, nah, that's wrong.
Disregard.
And then, evolution in my journey. And then I come back and I listen to him. I'm like, he's 100% spot on about this in my own experience. And so, yeah, I really appreciate he's been, I wouldn't say like he hasn't changed his message, but he's been consistent on a lot of things that I've come back around to in my own journey. So yeah, there has to be a balance, I think, between just sticking with, doing one thing and just sticking with it, and the longevity of that, which is admirable in a
Yeah.
certain way, but then also being able to continually learn and change your mind when new information comes up. So, and I don't
Yeah.
follow Dr. Christensen a lot. He's just, one of
Sure.
those voices that I've heard here and there. Um,
Yeah.
but anyways, I feel like he's very balanced in that way. Okay. Sing It
I
wants to
feel like we
know.
have to go a little bit long since this is our final one.
Maybe. She wanted to ask what our favorite topic ever during the chat was.
I don't know. I feel like we have talked about so many things over the past 2.5 years that
Yes.
it's impossible to be like, oh, yeah. I think I remember my favorite moment though.
Uh-oh. What is it?
I used to talk about hard boiling or like doing fried hard boiled eggs.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, I just don't know if I can get on board with that. And then you tried them one day
I
on
tried
our
them on the
live
chat.
stream, and you were like,
They're
that's not
delicious.
too bad. I
Yep.
was like, yes.
Yeah. No, they were great. I haven't done that in a while. I need to do that.
That I think is my favorite moment.
Yeah. Iodine, you need iodine for every cell in
That's
your body. Just be
true.
careful how much you take and in what form of iodine. Absolutely. And that's how
like
it is for so many things.
magnesium.
Yes, like we need a certain amount of it, but that does not mean that more is better. When will we learn this? And I'm speaking to myself
We
here.
can't. We're extremists. Like everybody says, like, well, I'm an extremist. Like it's some sort of a rare condition. No, we are all extremists. We see a little of something as good, therefore we go all the way to the ends of the earth to get more. So
Yep.
sugar will be killing you.
Yep. I'm
Cream,
gonna go on
according
the
to Dr.
ice cream
Kiltz.
diet. Ice cream is the only thing that won't kill you. Let's see. I gotta see if there's any more.
Well, Blaze said something that I did want to touch on.
Okay.
Casein protein is in dairy, and KetoChow does in fact use milk protein isolate, which contains both the whey protein and the casein protein. So they are not using just a whey isolate. If they were, I would probably come back to that a lot sooner, just because of the fact that having KetoChow in my life, it's so flexible for me, and not being, I don't know, it's a fast, simple, like no brainer for me. And I do like protein shakes. So
Yeah.
that helps with ease of feeding myself, but it is in fact both parts of the milk protein isolate, whey and casein. So that one will have to just be on pause a little longer.
Yes. I think I've heard Chris say that they include the casein in there because it helps with satiety. Is that right?
It does. It's a slower digesting protein, so it makes you feel fuller for longer as your body breaks that down.
Well,
Which one
it depends on what channel you're watching on. And we twin on a lot of things. So
all the things we're practically.
All right. Well, we are going to sign off here. I mean, we're not leaving YouTube or anything, so you will see us. We will be around, but just taking a pause on the coffee chats and enjoying our unhurried summer. And I hope you guys do the same as well. If we can encourage you to, think through your priorities and decide what's worth your time and what's not, and value rest and rejuvenation.
Stress management.
Do that. Do that for us. All right. So thanks for joining.